Hello and welcome to Impact Tuition. We are dedicated to helping candidates prepare for the CA examinations. Today we do a quick overview of the ICAG Ghana Financial Reporting Syllabus. Before we begin, kindly like, subscribe to our channel, and share, and encourage your friends to subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you. Now let's begin. The financial reporting module is one of 6 courses in the application level, which is level 2. Now, the aim of the module is to provide candidates with the skills to prepare single entity and group financial statements in accordance with IFRS, to support evaluation of financial statements, and to provide basis of knowledge. Now, the end of the module, or having completed the module, it is expected that candidates should be able to demonstrate an understanding of the international, regulatory, legal, and ethical frameworks, the IASB Conceptual Framework for financial reporting, and their practical applications for financial reporting. It is also expected that candidates will be able to explain and apply appropriate accounting and financial reporting standards in preparation of financial statements. Candidates should be able to prepare and present single entity financial statements in accordance with IFRS. Candidates should be able to determine the approach to accounting for business combinations and prepare consolidated financial statements. And finally, candidates should be able to analyze and interpret financial statements for relevant stakeholders and other users. The syllabus is divided into 5 parts or 5 sections, with each section carrying a weight put together, which should give a total of 100%. Let's start. 5 parts: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The first part deals with the regulatory, legal, and ethical frameworks, the International Accounting Standards Board Conceptual Framework for Financial Reporting. So we'll capture that as Conceptual Framework. The second section looks at the application of accounting and financial reporting standards. So we'll capture that as the IFRSs. The third, single entity statements. The fourth section, business combinations. And then finally, evaluating financial statements. The weight in every exam is expected that conceptual framework should carry 10%, IFRS is 25%, single entity statements 20%, business combinations 25%, and evaluating financial statements 20%, which when put together should equal a total of 100%. Good. Now let's look at the breakdown. So we'll pick each section and discuss them briefly. Part 1, Conceptual Framework. Forgive my handwriting. I do believe with time I will be able to write better on the digital writing part. Let's start. Conceptual framework. Students should be able to demonstrate an understanding of the regulatory, legal, and ethical frameworks, the IASB Conceptual Framework for Financial Reporting, and their practical implications for financial reporting. We should be able to identify the role of the IASB. So, role of IASB, which is the International Accounting Standards Board. Not ISAB, IASB. IASB. In that, we should also know the role of the IFRIC, International Financial Reporting Interpretations Committee, the role of IFRS, Advisory Council, the role of GPF, which is the Global Preparers Forum, and then the role of the Financial Crisis Advisory Group. Good. Then we end with the standard setting process. Standard setting process. Alright. When we are done with this, we will look at history and rationale for harmonizing financial reporting internationally. So, history and rationale for harmonizing financial reporting internationally. Then we'll look at the timetable for harmonization. We'll also look at the IFAC Code of Ethics, and the development of corporate governance codes. Corporate governance codes. When we are done with this, then we'll focus our attention on the conceptual framework. We will then look at the framework itself. We'll start with users of financial reports and their information needs. Components of a complete set of financial statements, assumptions underlying the preparation of financial reports, assumptions used in preparing financial statements. Also talk about the qualitative characteristics of financial statements. We will also discuss the recognition and measurement of the elements of financial statements. Then we will end with the concept of capital and capital maintenance. Concept of capital and capital maintenance. Alright, now this is the end of the first section. Part B, or the second part, will focus on the International Financial Reporting Standards. And here we should be able to apply and explain appropriate accounting and financial reporting standards in the preparation of financial statements. We will deal with 29 standards. 29 standards. These 29 standards include standards for consolidation. Some of the standards we'll be looking at will include inventories, accounting policies and changes in accounting estimates and errors, events after the reporting period, impairment of assets, intangible assets, provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets, property, plant and equipment, investment property, leases, related party disclosure, statement of cash flows, earnings per share, among others. Please take note, 29 standards. We'll take our time and look at each of these standards in detail. The third part of the financial reporting module focuses on single entity financial statements prepared in accordance with IFRS. So basically, we'll apply our knowledge in part 2 in preparing financial statements for single entities in accordance with IFRS. We will prepare a statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income. Also prepare a statement of changes in equity. We will prepare a statement of financial position, statement of cash flows, and then the notes to the account, or the disclosure note. Alright, that's the third part. Preparing single entity financial statements in accordance with IFRS. The fourth part, part 4, focuses on simple consolidated financial statements. What are we doing or looking at in this section? Determining the entities for inclusion in group accounts. Determining entities for inclusion in group accounts. Then explaining the treatment of intangible assets. Intangible assets in group accounts. And on acquisition of new businesses. So after we've acquired new businesses, how do we treat intangible assets? We will learn how to do all that. Then we'll prepare simple group financial statements of a parent with one subsidiary. Simple group financial statements of a parent with one subsidiary. So under this, we'll be looking at things like control, pre and post acquisition profits, non-controlling interest, treatment of intra-group transactions and balances, goodwill impairment, and disclosures. Then we'll also learn to prepare simple group financial statements of a parent with one associate or one joint venture. Under this, we'll be looking at significant influence, application of the equity accounting and exemptions to the equity accounting approach. We'll also be looking at impairment losses and disclosures. Then we'll look at the final thing, or the final section, and the syllabus, which is evaluating financial statements. Evaluating financial statements. So basically, we'll be dealing with ratio analysis. First, we will look at the limitations of published financial information. Limitations of published FS. We also explain the scope of financial statements in providing scope of financial statement analysis in providing decision useful information. So the scope of financial statements. Then we will prepare ratio analysis. Under this, we'll look at certain categories of ratios: profitability and return, the next efficiency, next short-term solvency and liquidity, long-term solvency and liquidity, and then shareholder investment, shareholder investment ratios. So these are the categories of ratios we'll be looking at. There are sub-ratios under these broad category headings. We'll look at all of those. From here, still under the section 5, we will look at the strength and weaknesses and practical uses of accounting ratios. Strength and weaknesses and practical uses of ratios, KPIs, which are key performance indicators, and benchmarking exercises. Benchmarking exercises should be an E. Benchmarking exercises. We will also interpret financial statements and prepare reports. Not just reports, but appropriate reports for relevant stakeholders. And finally, we prepare a simple value added statement. And this brings us to the end of the whole ICAG Ghana financial reporting syllabus. It's quite a lot, but we'll take our time, pick each section, delve deeply into them, and we hope to finish all 5 sections in good time. So this is Impact Tuition, and may I remind you to like, subscribe to our channel, and share the link to our videos to your friends and close ones. Anybody at all preparing for the ICAG Ghana exams will benefit so much from our channel. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next videos.